the Unleash Success podcast, where we break down the secrets of success to give you real tools and strategies that get real results. And now, here's your host, Corey Corpodian.
Welcome back to Unleash Success. If you haven't subscribed to our newsletter yet, just go to unleashsuccess.com, enter your email so you can get all the tools and strategies sent directly to you each and every week. Today, we're interviewing Josh York, who is an entrepreneur, founder, and CEO of GYMGUYZ, the #1 fastest growing franchise. Currently, they have over 250 locations in 30 states and 3 countries. They're absolutely killing it. Josh, I'm super excited to interview. Welcome to the show.
Oh, Corey, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on the show. We're about to give the people some energy, some fire. We're about to turn it up, and there's going to be so many nuggets within this show that's going to be so valuable to everyone. I'm just fired up and I'm happy to share.
Awesome. Well, let's jump right in. I want to ask you, what motivates you? You're a highly motivated guy. You're crushing it right now as an entrepreneur. What motivates you?
Listen, it's a very simple question. What motivates me is, number one, my mission has always been to change people's lives on the entrepreneurial side and change people's lives on the consumer side. And I have the ability to do both. But what also motivates me is all those people over the years that have laughed at me and told me I was a joke and, just called me a trainer and just never believed in what I believe. I always say, whatever you believe, you actually can achieve it, but you have to believe it. You have to be obsessed with it. And, not to kind of shift off too much from the beginning of this podcast, but I have a holiday on August 1st, and it's called National Swiss Cheese Day. And this holiday is a very special holiday. And Corey, you're more than welcome. Anyone else out there, more than welcome to join me. I go to the deli. Depends on if I'm traveling or not. No matter if I am, I still get a half a pound of Swiss cheese. Take the half a pound of Swiss cheese. Whether I'm traveling, it goes in my backpack. If I'm in my office, it goes on my desk. I started GYMGUYZ in 2008. Started franchising in 2014. But in 2007, I used to train a very successful billionaire. I'm not going to mention his name, but very, very successful, big time guy. He's on the Forbes list. He is just someone I admired, someone I looked up to, training him for years. And this guy literally has an aquarium like a fish tank as his shower. It's the craziest thing you'll ever see, like gorgeous shower head and all exotic fish in a tank. It's just crazy. Wow. But anyway, very successful, looked up to him. I told him about the business that, GYMGUYZ that I wanted to start. And I'll never forget that day. And he's like, oh, Josh, your business is like Swiss cheese. It's got too many holes in it. You'll never succeed. So I left there. Obviously, Corey, I was crushed, right? But I'm about always positivity. I take negative signs. I slice them down the center. I make them a positive. It's about believing. I left there. I said, screw this guy. I choose my own destiny. He'll see. Fast forward 7 years later, I'm on the front page of the New York Times business section, disrupting the fitness industry. I get a call in the afternoon. No joke. He calls me. I'm like, hello, Josh York speaking. I knew it was him. Like silence for like 20 seconds. And he says, wow, I'm really sorry. I'm very proud of you. Wow. And ever since that day, the holiday's been going strong.
What day is that?
August 1st. Like clockwork.
Like clockwork. That's incredible, man. Sometimes it takes that pain of just being rejected by somebody to be able to step up and show what you were really made of.
Absolutely, man. Listen, without pain, there's no growth. I don't care what you're doing or where you want to go in the world. You have to experience pain. And I have a very good philosophy on how to really get better at experiencing pain to be able to push your limits to a whole nother level, because it's about pushing your limits. That's how you get better.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking about entrepreneurship, pushing your limits, how have you been able to take it from 2008, just starting GYMGUYZ, to stepping up and now in over 250 locations? What's been your secret to this massive growth?
So we run our business off 2 concepts. And obviously we're all mobile. We drive our vehicles. So obviously you have to provide fuel into the vehicle, and then you drive the vehicles. So I came up with the concept, because you can't drive without fuel. Drive and fuel. Drive are our core values: determination, respect, integrity, versatility, and excellence. Every single person in our organization has to align with those values. Then you have fuel. Now, what are the 4 components that it takes to be successful? Fun, unity, earnings, and leadership. Those are the 4 components that you need to implement to fuel your business. And that's what we've done from day one. I don't care what anyone says. Culture eats strategy for breakfast any day of the week. You have to have fun. You have to love what you're doing. And you got to surround yourself with great people. That is what's taken us to where we are today. But it's also vision. It's literally taking that blank canvas and painting your vision on it, becoming obsessed with your vision, so sickly obsessed, that's all you think about. And that's the number one most important thing.
Man, that is incredible. I love that. Drive and fuel. I think those are 2 great concepts. And you actually wrote a book about fuel. Can you expand on that?
Sure. So Fuel, What It Takes to Survive as an Entrepreneur. I don't know if you got a chance to see the YouTube video of it, but I will tell you right now, if you haven't, check it out. I sold over 8,000 copies, making myself a bestseller within I think it was like 9 weeks or 8 weeks. It was crazy. I didn't really expect that. I just put out this crazy video of my routine. I'm up early in the morning, 3:15, 3:30, 3:45. It's usually within that range. I'm at the gym. I'm doing things before the rest of the world's up. And I kind of just put this video together and put it out there. But the reason I put the story out was because, number one, people don't really understand what it takes. And I touched on this briefly earlier about pain. And pain is brutal. I could tell you stories that will give people ulcers listening to this of what I've been through over the years. I've eaten cans of tuna for 4 years straight. If I look at tuna, I will throw up. I cannot eat tuna. I can't look at it. Literally ate it straight for 4 years. I've been evicted from my apartment. I slept in the van. I could tell you just the craziest stories. I've literally had my van break down from a flat tire in the middle of a blizzard, and I ran to my client. That's how determined I am. I ran to my client just to be there on time. I could tell you crazy things. I've been out in blizzards, Hurricane Sandy. I was out and about. Nothing could stop me. If I had the flu, so what? I never stopped. Everything comes down to mindset. And that's why I put this book together, to let people understand. I made it a very quick read, short and sweet. I don't want to get too much into it. So I want to save it for the big book one day, or maybe a couple books one day. But anyway, it's about really what it takes to survive as an entrepreneur, and like the dirt, like all the dirt behind the scenes of what it takes. Because people always look at success and go, wow, look at this lucky guy or gal. And they look at the finished product. But no one ever looks at what it took to get there, that journey. It's about patience. If you lack patience, you will lack results. If you literally, have self-talk and that self-negative talk in your mind, you will fail. If you believe for 1 second that it's not going to work, you will fail. If you let the negativity infect you and create a virus in your body, you will fail. I've had every single person tell me it wasn't going to work and laugh at me, but I started being very smart, strategic, and seeing how the world was evolving. And I'm saying the same thing I was saying back in 2008 in my parents' dining room, and look at where we are today.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, man, you've got so much energy and excitement. Absolutely love it. But you also mentioned you wake up at 3:30, but you don't even drink coffee. Where does this energy come from?
Oh. It's a mindset, man. It's a mindset. Listen, what makes me sick to my stomach is when I hear people complain. I just don't like it. Look, you know the saying, your net worth equals your net worth. Yeah. Like who you surround yourself with. Listen, you surround yourself with negative people, you're going to be a negative person. It's just that simple. I don't have time and nonsense. I don't have many friends. I don't care. I have my family here at corporate. That's my family. My team, my franchise family members. That's my family. Then I have my wife, my 2 children. That's my family. That's my blood. I have one good friend. You have one good friend, you're lucky. I can't surround myself with people that don't get it. But my energy just comes from the drive. We're going to be the best in the world. I'm telling you that right now. There is no chance of that not happening. In 15 to 20 years, we will be the largest fitness brand on the world. People say I talk a big game. I back it up every second. The chances of us not being number one, you have a higher probability of seeing elephants fly. We are not going to stop, and we're just getting started.
I love it. And it comes down to vision. I thought you were going to say mindset for energy. And specifically to when you went into surrounding yourself with negative people, I really appreciate you sharing that, because a lot of people don't realize how negative people complaining, how it can drain your energy and suck the energy out of you to where you're mentally, emotionally exhausted. And that kills your mindset.
100%.
So when you surround yourself with people like yourself, you just, sky's the limit. You go as far as you can and further.
100%, Corey, you're spot on. And what's crazy to me is when I just see people like, look, it's a stat that 85% of people drive to work every day committing spiritual suicide. They hate their job. They stare at the clock all day. They're miserable. It's another stat that people spend 3 to 4 hours a day at work working on non-work related tasks. Here, it's not a job. This is not work. It's a lifestyle. If you're having anxiety Sunday night about going to work, you are broken and you better fix what you're doing. That is a fact. Don't get me wrong. I love the weekends for the right reasons. I'm with my family all the time, but I could be at the park playing with my kids. I can't wait to look, I'm always on 24/7. I never stop, but I can't wait to get back to the office Monday. Let's crush it. That's how I operate. But if you don't believe and you don't have an excitement or a passion or a reason of what you're trying to do, you have to have that vision, right? People say you need a business plan. Nah, look, I didn't start with a business plan. I'm just very strategic. I had in my mind mapped out how I wanted to, succeed and obviously move forward. Over time, you become more strategic and you start putting those things in place. But you just got to start with a vision and believing, and that's really that's simple. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So you start with the vision. Is there some tool that you've used to keep yourself to either design that vision, like a vision board, or some tool that you've used to help keep you on track for that vision? Like, do you set goals? I mean, you obviously have a lot of intensity, a very clear vision, but what do you do daily or weekly that keeps you on point?
So I'll tell you right now, there are some things that I do. Number one, I've wasted a lot of time, and I hope these brokers don't hear this because I'm going to be, I'm going to be literally out there. But I've wasted more brokers' times, seeing houses, 10, 15, $20 million homes. And I can't even tell you, I do it all the time. I have to be there. I'm not really into cars. It's really not really my thing. I like my pickup truck, and that's never going to change. But you have to put yourself there. What I used to do in the early days, my wife, with my girlfriend at the time, I used to just go to a nice hotel, like the Ritz-Carlton. I wouldn't even eat there. I wouldn't do anything there. I would just stay there just to feel it, to just be in the moment of what my life is going to be like. When I was suffering so bad, I would make sure I had just enough money to, wherever it was, go to a fancy restaurant just for that one night and just splurge. To just feel like when you go to the table, they fold a napkin for you right away. They pull out your seats. Like, the service is just amazing. How you doing, Mr. York? Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Just to taste it. If you want that life, you have to taste it. You have to put yourself there. You have to be sickly obsessed. So obsessed that it takes over you. There is not a chance in hell I would never not be successful, because I don't let anything stop me. And that obsession can become your possession, but you have to allow it. But it starts with the vision. So my first thing is you take a blank canvas in your mind and you start painting that picture. My picture's never changed from day one sitting in my parents' dining room, but it takes hard work. It takes sacrifice. It takes the ability of you able to be uncomfortable. Because in order to get comfortable, you have to be uncomfortable. I tell all of my franchise owners this. I tell people that I mentor this. If you can go into a busy area, whether it's a mall or supermarket, with a 16-foot ladder, I want you to climb up to the top. Be careful. I don't want anyone breaking anything. Okay? I'm not telling you to do this. You want to do a step stool? Step stool's fine. And you're going to sing Whitney Houston. Shout out to my girl, Whitney. I Will Always Love You, as loud as you can, in front of everybody. Now, most people will not be able to do that. Why? Because they're not able to be uncomfortable. Me, I don't care. I'll do it in a chicken suit. I will literally walk around in my underwear. I'll do whatever I have to do. But when you have the ability to be uncomfortable, to get comfortable, you're going places.
If you don't get out of your comfort zone, you're never going to get to that next level of success. And just like you said, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So you started
100%.
You started GYMGUYZ, and you're going into this. Talk to us about some of your strategy that you used to grow it. Like, why choose a mobile gym? Everybody's going into the online space. What was your distinction, and how have you become so successful in business?
First of all, human interaction is never going anywhere. Robots can't replace what we do. That's number one. Number two, yes, there's always going to be other options. But see, the thing I've always thought about is scalability. You have to be able to scale. And, most people, look, I was making millions of dollars, man, at an early age. I literally took about 25, 30 steps backwards, in order to think big picture. Because you know what I see? I see a lot of people out there, they're trying to make a quick buck. They're trying to think short term, whether it's doing some marketing on a Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is. That's great. But is that sustainable in the future? You have to think big picture. So what I've always done is big picture, but I've always seen that, look, at the end of the day, it's about accountability. We hold people accountable. We're there. There's a big difference in trying to go take an old workout DVD or tape, because you have lots of great things out there that are virtual nowadays. But you tell me, what's so different from watching a virtual, session on a bike right now, let's say, with any types of companies out there or whatever it is, compared to watching a DVD? There's no difference, and most people nowadays, they're either using those pieces of equipment for clothing racks, or they're using them, once in a while. But the accountability factor is very important. That human interaction, component is very important. These are things that are very important to obviously keep moving the needle.
We talked about you need fuel for your drive, and you're going out there and you're training all of your franchise guys. What do you look for in a new franchise owner that you think is going to make them more successful?
It's passion. It's drive. It's the willing to just want it. How bad do you want it? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Some people just don't want it. Some people don't believe in it. If you want to be the best, you have to want to be the best. I'm looking for that drive. The first question I ask myself every single time, I don't care who it is. Corey, I ask the person, I ask myself, would I have this person over my house for dinner? If the answer is no, I am not moving forward with them. There's no way. There's no way, because it's about relationship. Everything comes down to relationship. You want to be successful in life in general, you got to build relationships. And that's the number one most important thing that I look for.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you talk about relationships, some people out there thinking maybe, I know a lot of entrepreneurs who aren't really extroverts, but more introverts. What do you say to them about building that solid relationship, showing somebody like yourself that, they're worth a try, that they are good enough? What do you think they should do?
Listen, I think number one, what they should do is step out of their comfort zone. Look, I am very extroverted, but when I'm alone, like when I have my own time, I could be introverted, because I just like to be alone. Sometimes I just like to just be with my family and not hang out and be going to party. Like, I'm not a party guy. I've never been to parties. I've never done any of that kind of stuff. I'm all about the grind. That's what I've always been about. But people who need to just, get uncomfortable, like I was telling you about the singing, just get uncomfortable and step out of your comfort zone. You have to just do it. This is why I love Nike. Okay. Shout out to my man, Phil Knight. You want to be really ahead of the game? Read the book Shoe Dog, The Story of Nike. It's my number one favorite book. That story is out of control, insane. I have more respect for Phil Knight than probably any other business person in the world, because it's just crazy what that man did. Stories are out of control crazy. And although I've never been personally mentored by the guy, just reading his book has been like a mentorship for me, because it's really helped me get through some of those really tough times where I felt like, I was like just down in the dumps and had to just get some type of outlook. Because the thing is, what's great is when you look at a franchise system, Corey, these people have our support. We're there to help them. They're in business for themselves, but not by themselves. I was trying to figure the whole thing out. I was trying to figure out the blueprint. Look, I created a new category. I had to change the game. In order to change the game, that puts a lot of time and energy into it. But I think people just need to be willing to just be uncomfortable. Step out of your comfort zone. Just do it. Stop complaining. What's the worst thing that can happen? Someone says no? Who cares? I've been rejected and told no more times. And I'll tell you a quick story that will really touch on this. GYMGUYZ.com. I wanted that website. Okay? I never stop. Trust me. When I tell you I never stop, I never stop. And again, I became obsessed that I have to get GYMGUYZ.com. This guy, shout out to my man Al, lives in Colorado. He owned the website. Wasn't even using it. He wanted $40,000 for it.
Holy shit.
Called him. Yeah. And keep in mind, Corey, I had no money, right? So
wow.
Kept calling him. No. Now we're at like 30 times I've spoken to this guy. He's now dodging my calls, ignoring me. I said, you know what? Screw it. Here's his address. I'm just going to fly out to Colorado. Corey, I flew to Colorado. You tell me how many people are going to do this. Not many. Flew out to Colorado. I go to his house. I kid you not. The guy's not home. So I go to his next door neighbor. They say, oh yeah, the family's away till next week on vacation. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I write this long note, leaving it in his mailbox. Then I left the note with the neighbor. He comes home, calls me. We're like, still in the conversations. He thought it was out of control. Now we're going into like, this is more and more conversations. It took me 72 times of contacting him, and he just gave me the website for free. He told me I was a lunatic. He's never met anyone as intense as me. He loved my passion, blah, blah, blah. He's like, kid, you're going somewhere. I'll never forget that conversation. And I still talk to him to this day. But what if I quit on the 71st time? I would have never got it.
That's such a great story, man. I mean, literally the fact that he wasn't there, unreal, but persistence and never giving up. I think that's a belief that a lot of people should adopt. I don't think that's something necessarily, you're born with, oh, I'm just never going to give up, but it's something that you learn, and you've got to have that grit. You got to grind it out. And just like you said, what if you had stopped? Then you wouldn't even have Gym Guys. And we'd be talking about, I don't even know what the name of your company would be. I think that's amazing, man. What goes through your head when you're sitting there thinking about that 70th call, that 71st call? Because I mean, everybody, they talk to themselves. I've done this 100 times. They lack enthusiasm. They lack excitement. What do you think is going through your head, and how do you come across and instill in the other person, like, hey, like, I'm still eager, I'm still excited? How do you keep going?
It's very simple. First off, number one, I think I'm one of the baddest on the planet. I just believe that. I don't care if there's someone better than me. I can care less. I really don't care. I believe that. I truly believe that in my mind. I believe that no one has the ability to do what I can do. I believe that. I don't care if anyone says they're better. I don't care. I believe that. I become so obsessed. Everything I do has to tie into obsession. And I know no matter what, I'm going to get it. I actually see it. You know how many negatives I've had in my bank account over the years? I've had more negatives in my bank account than sunny days in the Caribbean. Okay? I can tell you how many times my back has been against the wall. And I've always just said to myself, this too shall pass. All good. It's going to work out. And I figured it out every goddamn time. Sometimes I don't even know how the hell I figured it out, to be quite honest with you, Corey. But every time I jump on a call, whoever I'm talking to, if it's getting a website, if it's closing a deal, I'm going to close this deal. I am not going to stop until I close this deal. And that is how I get it done. And I do some crazy stuff. And honestly, it's out there on the internet, so I don't even care. I'll share some of my secrets, but I'm onto a new thing now, but I for a while I was shipping people tires. So literally shipping people 18-wheeler truck tires. To ship a tire is like $375. It's very expensive. I shipped about 20 of them, add up the numbers. The person at the packaging store, if you could just see her face every time she saw me walk in to ship another tire out, because again, I'm not your average Joe, right? I ship it in a box that you can ship a human in, number one. Tires got to be standing up straight. The note has to be positioned perfectly, so when you open the box, it's right there. It's got to be stuffed perfectly. And I was just superstitious. I wouldn't leave the store until the box was stuffed and taped. So the woman's looking at me like, oh, you can leave now. We'll take care of it. No, I'm sorry. I have to stay. I'm sorry. You might think I'm crazy. I have to stay until it's closed. Think about how many people would actually do that. Think about how many people will go the extra mile. The reason I'm telling you this is because I'm letting you get inside my mind, get inside the way I think. I do a lot of horrible things from the uncomfortable standpoint to get a lot of not only exposure, but make a lot of noise. You must make a lot of noise if you want to move the needle.
Yeah, something that is interesting just with your stories, I'm noticing the fact that you tend to do things that some people might write off as not necessary. There's no bang for the buck. There's no real value out of doing it in eyes. Like the shipping people, they could take care of it. Some people would just, all right, I'll let them take care of it. But why do you keep going that extra mile? Why do you always do so much more? And how have you seen that increase your results?
It just, look, at the end of the day, you got to be a step ahead. You got to be willing to do what others won't do. And you have to be, again, I'm going to say it again, obsessed.
Somehow I knew you were going to say that.
Absolutely, my man. I'm obsessed with detail. I'm obsessed with it being precise. It has to be to the T. I like my things a certain way. It's got to be like that. Yes, I'm a little OCD, actually very OCD, but it has to be that way. Most people can never even handle a workout with me. And this is a challenge to anyone who wants to play. Anyone who wants to play, let's go. Whether I'm duct taping my mouth, doing my sprints, breathing through my nose only, or when I finish my workouts, jumping into the 30-degree ice bath like it's a hot tub. I jump in there like it's a joke. You know what? Yes, there's benefits for your body, but number two, it makes you so mentally tough. I push myself so hard sometimes that most human beings would literally end up in a hospital. I can't even tell you some of the things I do. Sometimes after I do my sprints, I can't even hear outside my ear. I can't even hear. Like my ears are ringing so bad. I push myself always Someone wants to run a mile, I'm going to run 2. Someone wants to put in 5 reps, I'm going to do 6, maybe 7, maybe 10. Someone wants to send a tire, I'm going to send them an airplane. That's the way I think. You have to think like that. The problem is people will listen to this and get fired the hell up, but they're not going to execute on it. Going back to pain, if it's not painful, you're not growing. Everything I do involves a certain degree of pain, but it only makes me better, stronger, tougher, and makes my mindset literally like calluses, like you callus your hands, you callus your body to be the baddest. That's the way I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said you duct tape your mouth for sprints. That's right?
I duct tape my mouth for sprints, nasal breathing only.
Yeah, definitely never heard that on this podcast. So I'm going to say you're taking it to the next level. I've done the ice baths.
Listen, Corey.
and that's definitely good.
My man, let me tell you something. So there's a difference. Listen, I'm not cocky at all, and I'm very humble, but I'm in very good shape. I'm in very, very good shape. There's a difference between an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur who could build a bicep. Okay? And again, I'm not going crazy, but I got great biceps and I'm in great shape. But there's a totally different mindset. I'm telling you that right now. It's very hard to build your body up. It's a lot easier to build a business, but it's a lot harder to build your body. And if you see any entrepreneurs who are jacked and in great shape, don't mess with them. I'll tell you that right now, because they take things to a whole nother level.
It's funny. I'm huge into fitness. I love it. And a lot of the principles that I've used in business come from kind of my dad talking to me like that when I was playing sports as a kid. And then later on myself talking to myself like that in the gym, preparing for a fitness competition, whatever it was, and just pushing past. Like you were saying, 5 reps, I'll do 6, I'll do 7. I'm always amazed at the limit is never what you think. Oh, I'm going to do a set of 10 reps. Well, what if I could do 11? Let me just try. Oh, my body still keeps going. What about one more and one more and one more until literally your body can't move? And it's always amazing how it's just a mental limit more than a physical one. And breaking through those mental limits in sports and in fitness allowed me, when I reached a mental obstacle in business, to easily say, oh no, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. This is not a problem. Let's find a solution. This is just a quick bump in the road. We're going to keep going. So I 100% agree with you. And there was something back there that you said that I really want to touch upon, because I think it's critical for some of our audience, especially young entrepreneurs, people who are looking to start a business. And you said you got a little bit of OCD and perfectionism. Now, sometimes people get caught up in being so perfect before they even start. How do you balance that OCD, that every detail being absolutely perfect, and just getting shit done?
Yep. Great question, my man. So I'll tell you right now, it comes down to execution, and it comes down to losing the analysis stuff. Okay. If you're going to be analysis by paralysis type of person, you're not going to succeed. And I want to correct what I said about perfection. Okay. Because perfection, yes, it's very important. But when you're dealing with business and trying to get the job done, you can never be 100%. It's impossible, because you're never going to get a team that's going to do it the way you want to do it. You're never going to have a team that's going to put things in a certain way that you want it done. You're never going to have a team that's going to do everything that you want to do. But if you could shoot for 85 to 90%, you're doing very, very well.
Absolutely. I love that you said that, because I've fought with perfectionism a lot when I was going through business and getting started with all these different ideas that I had. And I found that if I waited to be 100% perfect, like you said, it's never going to happen. But if I wanted to try for 80 or 85%, that was the finish point that I saw. Okay, you know what? I can actually get this done, because there's so many things you learn when you actually get started that you could never anticipate until you get started. So I think that's huge. I appreciate you sharing 100%. That. So as an entrepreneur, what do you think are some common mistakes that other people make, maybe you've made in the past, and how can we avoid them?
So number one, people get scared. I'll tell you that right now. People don't believe in themselves, and people fill themselves with a lot of self-doubt. I'll tell you that right now. That is just, and I also, it's like, it's funny. I'll tell you this. This is a good way to put it. So I do a lot of keynotes. I've done them for 10, 20, and I've done them for thousands. And at the end, I always have people, and keep in mind, man, I just joined social media recently. I've been hibernating for 10 years. Now I'm coming out to play, and now people need to be nervous about it. But when I do these keynotes, okay, I have people come up, and usually lines of people that will, want to speak to me, ask me a question. Always, can you help me out? Listen, I've been turned down by everyone. Okay. Keep in mind now, though, I've been mentored by the best in the game, literally 7 people that run billion-dollar companies. But I literally get this question all the time. Can you help me? Can I shoot you an email? Can I call you? And I always give it out, always. And listen, I get 1,000, sometimes 1,500 emails a day. Okay. I get blown up all the time on my emails. I get tons of messages on LinkedIn, blah, 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 this and that. But when I get these, people asking me this, you know how many people actually follow up with me? 0. Nobody. 0. People talk a big game, but no one actually goes through with it. Like, yeah, I'll take care of that. Okay. And nothing ever happens. Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow, but nothing ever happens. You think I really like waking up every day at 3:30 in the morning? You really think I like that? No, I don't like that. Am I motivated every day? That's impossible. I'm disciplined every single day, and I never, ever stop, ever. Because I could have a sniper sitting outside my door, and he's going to get me or she is going to get me every single day, because I'm that routine. But I never break it, no matter what, ever.
Why do you think a routine like that is so important to your level of success?
Because routines are everything. I tell people this all the time, okay? You got to think of business as planting a seed, right? You put the soil there, get the soil nice, and you got to water it every single day. If you miss 5 days in a row, what's your outcome going to be? Remember, Corey, you know what? Brushing your teeth, man. Don't do it anymore. Stop brushing your teeth and come back to me in like 10 weeks, 12 weeks. Let's see what your teeth look like. Just stop brushing them. No, you got to brush them every day, right? First of all, that'd be totally disgusting, and you and I are not going to be homies anymore. That's number one. Number two, your teeth are going to rot, okay? You're going to have serious problems with them, but just stop, right? Business is no different. So routines are so important because you have to be consistent with everything. You want to be in sick shape and be great? It takes years. I've been doing this 11 years, and to be honest with you, I'm just getting started. And in another decade, I'm going to tell you the same damn thing. I'm just getting started. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have a routine and you don't stick to it, and you don't swear by it, and you don't do things with consistency, you're never going to move the needle. That is a fact. I feel like I got to drop a microphone.
Mic drop. So you said you wake up, you go to the gym every single day. What does your morning routine look like in case anybody wants to mimic you, model you, and follow in your footsteps?
Sure. So first thing I do is I wake up, I go right into a shower just to kind of freshen up. I eat a very small breakfast, nothing too crazy, and then I head right to my workout. Done my workout, depending on the day, whether I'm, I always do weights, then I'm doing some type of insane cardio, or I'm doing my sauna. You can follow me on Instagram. I'll give that information out later. You can kind of watch me sometimes. But, then I get home, take my ice bath, get ready, shower, get ready for, work. And I'm in my office by like 7:30. And listen, let me just tell you, remember, discipline. I travel a lot. There's been times I've literally taken an hour drive and gotten up an hour early just to go to the gym, because I don't work out in hotel gyms. They don't do it for me. It's just not happening. I got to be in an actual gym. I've been to more gyms. I can tell you, my God, forget it. I'm all over the place, but I will always make sure there's 3 things that I need. Okay. And these things haven't changed. A cup of blueberries every single day. I've been eating them since I'm 17. I've never missed a day in my life, ever. So I need my blueberries. I need to make sure I have my water, so I'm hydrated. And I need to make sure I find my gym. Other than that, I'm good to go. But I will never, ever go anywhere. I was just in London, just doing our launch in the United Kingdom. Found the gym, got a gym, found my blueberries, have my waters. Everything's waiting in my room like clockwork. Consistency always wins. People make fun of me and laugh at me like, all right, Josh, get your waters. Here we go. Get your blueberries. You know what? I don't care what anyone's got to say. I'm doing what I got to do, and that's it.
So workout, water, I get. Why blueberries?
I don't know, man. I love my blueberries. And, they say that it's very good. It's good fruit for your brain. So I want to keep my brain nice and tight and smart. So I eat those blueberries every day. I just love them. I don't know. Eat them every day.
I was just wondering. I was curious. I've heard that brain food, antioxidant, super antioxidant. But every single day for years seems to be working. I'm looking at your energy level. I'm like, what should I do? All right, maybe I should start eating some blueberries in the morning. Excellent, man. So a lot of times I talk about on the show the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, and the way I use it and analyze it is basically 80% of our results typically come from 20% of our actions. The key is knowing which action should we take. So for you in, whether it's mindset or entrepreneurship and business, what do you think is the biggest action or biggest piece of advice you can give other people to actually do that will give them the biggest results?
You just do it. That's it. Just do it. Because at the end of the day, what's going to give you the biggest results is you start with that vision. You have that vision in your mind. And I know I said this before, but it's very important. And you just get out there and do it. I get messages all the time and DMs of, how do I start? You just start. You just start. It's not hard. You just start. If you don't start, look, you think I had all the answers? How many times I failed? I probably spent hundreds, and I have the number. I know it's in the 200,000 range of mistakes I've wasted in money over the years. Obviously, I've gotten mentored by the best in the game. God bless these people. But I've went out there. People are sitting in seminars. I don't want to talk to people in the seminars. I want to go after the people who've done it. If you don't ask for help, you're not going to get help. It's that simple. And if you get rejected, so what? Who cares? But you know what? I love rejection. I love it. It gets me fired the hell up. And it makes me make sure that I know I'm going to connect with this person. The people I connected with by sending out tires, forget it, man. Crazy connections I made. I had someone respond to me, say literally, the email said, holy SHIT. Being very humble, I get hundreds of gifts on a monthly basis. I've never in my life received a tire. And it's so big, it's like just uncomfortable to even throw out. I just want it to be up in their face. And that's just what I do. And the message I left is very simple. My drive and intensity will leave tread marks all over your floor. We need to connect. Drop a microphone. And I had a fake mic that I put in the box. You just got to be creative, man. People like to think outside the box. I think like there's no box, zero box. But also, listen, I've always been different. Everything I've done has always been different. But that's what you got to do. You got to separate yourself from everybody else. That's how you're going to move the needle. That's how you're going to go. Look, I remember when I joined Instagram. It was funny. Instagram's so powerful, but people are like, wow, you have no followers. Hello. Everyone starts with 0, then 1, then 2. Who cares? Focus on yourself. The problem is people see people doing these video shoots with private planes and cars. Half of the time, that stuff's rented. That's number one. Number two, people are flossing. Who cares? Focus on yourself and stop focusing on everyone else. Because me, I used to be obsessed with this guy. I used to follow him. No joke. I was like, man, this guy is awesome. He's got so much money. Literally, months later, he went out of business. Wow. Business. And I found out all this stuff he was doing. He was going to like the aviation yard and going to private planes and shooting videos out there. Like he owned the private jet. And then he was going to car dealerships and just shooting. Half the stuff is smoke and mirrors. Who cares? Focus on you. And that's it. It's just that simple.
You said just get started. That's your piece of action for advice. But a lot of people, I get that message a lot too. How do I start? Where do I start? What do I do? How do I get direction? People who have that limiting belief or have some doubt, what do you tell them to overcome that so they can actually start?
It depends what company you're starting. Okay. For me, I was like, all right, I got to get a van. So let me find out how to get a van. Let me find out how to get a good price on the van. I'm going to need some equipment. What kind of equipment? You got to be strategic and start thinking it through. Then like, all right, what's my schedule going to look like? How am I going to track this? Just get the, even if you start with just paper and punching things with holes or whatever, just start basic. You're going to evolve over time. But if you don't just start and have a base plan, you're not going to move the needle. Like the first thing I always tell people, just build relationships. That's it.
Send them a
All
tire.
I do is talk to people. Look, you will never catch me anywhere not branding. I am always ABB, always be branding. I wear the same clothes every single day. I got like 20 of these, to 50 a t-shirt. All I wear is GYMGUYZ. I've sold deals in pizzerias, parking lots, you name it. Because that's how you start a conversation. But just talk to people. I know someone for everything, literally everything. You need a toilet fix, I got you. You need to fix something in the backyard, I connect with everybody. I'm so connected because that's very important in life to move the needle. Because if you and I had to go to the doctor, Corey, okay, doctor's booked all day. I know the doctor, you don't. Who's getting in? Me.
Of course.
That's how the world works. That's why relationships are so important. That's why you have to put yourself around the right people. If you deal with people who are negative and you deal with people who are just, how do I do this? Oh, you know how many people say, oh, I wish I did this. Okay, what'd you do the last 4 years? Oh, I wish I went to law school. What'd you do the last 4 years? Oh, I should have done this in my life. Oh, people tell me, oh, that's a great idea. I was going to do that. So why didn't you?
Right.
Why didn't you do it?
I would say action is the cure for regret. If you regret doing something, just do it now. You talk a lot throughout this whole interview, which I love, about mentorship and how you've got these great mentors, and you got people who own billion-dollar businesses. Incredible. I want to know, how have you found, or what have you done to reach out and get these people to mentor you?
Not easy, man. I'll tell you. And look, I'm a very real person. I answer every message I get. And sometimes it's hard. Like, I get hundreds of messages on LinkedIn, for example, a day, like hundreds. DM wise, I don't get as much as that, but probably like 100, maybe 50, 100 a day, sometimes more, depends. But I answer everyone. And sometimes people are like, oh my God, like, I'm surprised I answered them. It was so challenging when I used to reach out to people and they just thought I was just like a little speck of dirt,
Yeah.
So I always reach back to people, but I'll tell you, the 99% of the people I talk to don't have it. And I hate to say it like that. And I hate to say it like that, but I just know within 5 minutes if you have it or you don't. There's a certain amount of intensity that has to be there. There's a level of just like, just that passion that has to be there. And listen, if someone's not responding to you within seconds, that's a problem. It's just a problem. It's just a problem, especially someone who doesn't have a lot of things going on. If you're someone who's established and more successful, yes. But honestly, I'm not going to throw his name out here because I don't know if you'd want me to, but one person who I used to be obsessed. I'll tell you, it's a pretty crazy feeling. He runs a $1 billion company. I've reached out to him 500 times, literally I think it was over 500 times in like 2 years.
Wow.
I got to look. I marked it down. I mark all these things down. I'm obsessed with this stuff. And I'm not one to use a lot of vulgar language, but I wrote in the text, "You're the effing man." And he responded to me, flew out there and met him. He said, I do this all the time. You're the first person I met. I don't know what to tell you. You got it all figured out. That's what he said to me. And I'm like, like, this guy, someone I'm like a fan, like someone I'm obsessed with. He runs a $1 billion company. I'm not there yet. We're going to be there. But let me tell you something. He asked me for advice, Corey. Like, you know how crazy that is? He asked me for advice.
That's incredible.
The point is when you're confident and you believe it, that's how you move it. It's just that simple. Because you know what? If you go to the doctor and you're sick and you're coughing, you're not sure what you need. Maybe you need a Z-Pack or maybe some over-the-counter medication, and then the doctor says, "Corey, what do you think I should put you on?" Are you going to feel confident that this guy could be your doctor? You're going to be like, "I'm coming to you. You're the expert." That's how you have to look at business. And I've always been confident with anyone I went after. And look, I've been mentored. May he rest in peace, the founder of Subway, Fred DeLuca.
Wow.
That's the largest franchise in the world. He mentored me. And it was not easy to get him. But again, I'm obsessed. So how I met Fred DeLuca, I'll tell you the story quickly. It was at the International Franchise Association, which is like the Super Bowl of franchising. It's once a year. And this was, at the time, was in New Orleans. And I just kind of was like obsessed with following and mapping out like where they would have, sessions. And I connected with one of the people there. I built a very good relationship there, so I know where he would be. So that day, I went to the gym at 2 a.m. so I could be waiting. I literally rushed my workout, got back, showered. I was sitting at 3:30 in the morning till 9:30 in the morning, just sitting in the same spot waiting because he had to pass that area. And there he was. I said, "Oh, Mr. Luca, how are you?" Ran over to him. I said, and I went crazy, like in my crazy intense thing. And he's like, "Whoa." He's like, "Son, you are powerful, boy." And he's like, "It'd be my pleasure to help you. Anyone with much passion as you, I'd love to." I just sat there for hours. I didn't even move. I literally, at one point, I had to pee so bad. I was like, whatever. I had to pee in my pants. Let's pee in my pants. I sat there. I did not move because if I wasted 2 minutes, he could have walked by and I would have lost him. But that was the only day I had. But I was strategic about it. I planned it out. I planted to see it ahead of time. The difference is nowadays you have social media. You can find out so much about people. Just research them and then go out there and execute it. But you just can't say, oh, I did it 3 times, it didn't work. Oh, I did it 4 times. Go back to the website story.
Right.
Okay? What if I would have stopped at the 71st time? Tell me what then. Or the 70th or the 68th or whatever. Then what? That is how you do it. Just that simple.
Man, this has been awesome. You're full of value and you did not disappoint. You said this was going to be an amazing interview. I absolutely 100% am stoked about putting this out there for everybody else to listen and get to know you. Where can everybody find you online?
Absolutely. Well, you can find me on Instagram at Josh York GG. You can go follow me at Josh York on LinkedIn. You can check out our business at GYMGUYZ.com. Yeah, you could also look at franchising opportunities if that might be interest of you. But definitely reach out. I appreciate some love, and definitely we'll get back to you. And I appreciate you having me on the show, Corey. Thank you.
Yeah, Josh, last question for you. You've achieved a lot of success. You're growing. You're out there. You're doing everything you said you were going to do. But I always believe there's a next level. So for you, what is that next level of success?
To change as many people's lives as I can to impact the world, both on the consumer side and the entrepreneurial side. And that is exactly what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to provide a model, just a vehicle for people to just continue to be successful on both the entrepreneur and consumer side, because there's nothing more powerful than changing people's lives. Like, for example, little Johnny, got picked on, which is disgusting. And people should be like literally locked up for picking on people. And he couldn't make the football team, but then we get him to make the team. You know how amazing that is? Or a young boy who suffered from depression and lost his father and lost 100 pounds in 6 months. He's never went to school. He's been homeschooled his whole life. And then I go there to shoot a video on him, and he's crying to me that, thank you for starting this. Do you know how powerful that is? I literally have chills.
Wow.
You know how powerful that is? I could tell you hundreds of thousands of stories of what we do. We help people and we make a difference. It's not always about the money. Trust me. They say money doesn't make you happy. Look, poverty doesn't buy you anything. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that if you could do a great thing and make a living at the same time, you're in a very good place.
Oh, man, absolutely. And I love your passion for everything. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Listen, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
If you enjoyed the show and learned something of value, the one ask that I have is please go subscribe, whether you're on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. And if you leave us a 5-star rating and review, that absolutely helps us get our message out there. Each week, I'm going to continue to interview amazing people, and we're going to break down their tools and strategies to help get you real results. Feel free to visit the website, unleashsuccess.com, and subscribe to our newsletter so you get updates each week. And remember, knowing is not enough. Knowledge alone is not power. Action is. Because action is the only way you're going to get the results you want in life and truly live the life of your dreams. So take some action, subscribe to the podcast today, and get ready to unleash success in you.